Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 3 of this podcast, where we're going to continue through issue 11 of the Pro Detailer Magazine.
I could just drag them up
In
here.
you go, Doris.
Have you left the winch in so you can drag the dead bodies in?
You indicate with your nose. The nose of the car. With your
I'm
way
still
pointing.
indicate. I've turned the steering wheel. That indicates that I want to move.
I can attest to that, because you did invite me out. I got a
I keep
random
on asking
message
you to come and meet me in the field, and
Yes, at night.
you keep coming up with excuses.
Well, that brings us into, speaking of legal, into an interesting, well, it's not really legal, environmental article on microfibers, which
So you're going
James...
to say not really interesting.
No, I liked it. No, it's an article about microfiber cloths and about what happens to them after they've been used when they're disposed of, and how they can break down and cause all sorts of trouble and kill polar bears and stuff. So, James, would you like to say a little bit about that?
I would, eco warrior and all.
Yeah.
But basically, I mean, we're prone to doing it as well. Detailers buy, shout out to Costco, loads of Kirkland microfiber cloths.
Not recently, but
No,
now they're back.
I've
Still waiting on a pack of 4 to show up.
I've left a baton downstairs.
What's a baton? That isn't like the gin.
You mean a bale?
A bale, baton.
A baton's like a stick.
A bundle.
Bundle, yeah.
That's what the police in The Simpsons say. Can I use your hidden stick? It's not a kind of hidden stick. It's a baton. What is it for? Hidden people.
Yeah, it's like I was just wondering if that was the official term for a collection of microfibers.
Like a flock of geese.
No, like a business of otters.
Is it a business of otters?
Yeah.
I think the collection for used microfibers is a shitty pile.
Shitty pile,
It's like get that shitty pile of microfibers.
or in most people's case, a dustbin. So the issue we've got is that microfibers are recyclable until they're made into microfiber. So they are synthetic polyamides. But as soon as they basically spin them, like spinning a yarn, as I am. They spin them to make them into very, very, very fine threads. Mm-hmm. And if you melt a microfiber, it's a lump of plastic.
Because it's polyester and polyamide as the kind of the blend.
Yeah, but polyester and polyamide individually are recyclable. Mm-hmm. The problem we have is that when they're made into a microfiber, the risk of contamination of the recycling plant is so high that nowhere recycles microfiber. And that's just one of the issues with microfibers. The other issue is that when we wash them, we hear all the time about microplastics going into the water system.
Yeah, from like face wash, all those beads you get in your
microbeads. So they were banned.
But they were probably banned just before we were, because this was originally going to go into the last magazine. We ran out of space. Yeah. But it was just before then they banned the microbeads in California, didn't they?
Yeah, so they're illegal in all cosmetics now. So if you go and buy whatever the face wash is, Bulldog or something, I think it is, and they use
the exfoliator one,
like ground walnut or shells or something.
Yeah, I don't use face wash.
I can tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gets in the way of my beard.
That's why your beard takes so long to grow.
My beard grows faster than anything else. It's because of my cod liver oil I take. My nails and my beard grow.
Do you take hair and mane?
As in Maine the state, or
hair and mane spray?
No, I don't do.
Tail and mane.
Oh no, because you used the shampoo for ages that Vicky Butler Henderson advertises.
Yeah, I stopped doing that.
Were you putting that on your beard?
Well, it probably did go on my beard.
It's cheaper to just pour coffee on your head.
No, I've stopped using it because I got irritated with the cost, and then I bulk bought 36
You only
bottles.
started using it because Vicky Butler Henderson was advertising
it. I've been on it for 4 years, and I'm still going bald, so I'm like, sod this. And then I ended up getting I've got a job lot of kind of fell off the back of a lorry shampoo, unbranded, 36 bottles, and they worked out 25p a 500ml bottle. And as far as I'm concerned, it's bubbly. It smells vaguely.
To be fair, you can get 25 litres of lovely bubbly off of
bubbly
off of Tim over at Envy for.
I'm pretty sure that's sort of
or something.
I'm pretty sure that's thingy free. What's it called?
Paraben free, yeah.
NDA or whatever the other one is.
I don't care. There are enough bottles around the bloody bathroom and none of them are mine.
So what happened there? Were you just driving down a country lane and someone like, pals, you want 50 litres of this dog oil?
Do you want to buy some shampoo?
Do you want to be all frothy?
No, I did some online thing because obviously we know.
Was it a group buy in the Subaru Owners Club?
You get it free with 530.
So yeah,
Scissors don't run 530s. Anyway, never mind.
So the microplastics is a massive issue.
Yeah.
When we wash them in a washing machine, they get agitated and rolled around, and they release.
As do I.
Yeah, they release microplastics into the water system. The other issue is that you can. I mean, especially in our case, because we've got a high quantity of cloths going through the workshop, we kind of need a quick turnaround on the cloths. So we tumble dry them on low heat. And again, that can knock dry microfibers into the atmosphere. So you need to make sure you clean the filters properly. But ultimately, the only way to dispose of them is through landfill. And, you know, we're trying to avoid it going into the water stream. But if we're burying it in the ground, it's going to get there anyway. So what we're hoping for, Ian and I have already looked into it recently, is the introduction of bamboo fibre replacing polyamides and synthetics. And
it's very soft.
It's
We've got some
happening.
samples.
Bamboo is technically the softest denier, is it?
Denier.
Denier.
Yeah, it is the softest in the world. It has that mark. We've tried some variations of it before, and there's a bit of scratchiness goes on. But
the problem is that the only way that they're produced at the minute is to be woven.
Yeah.
So they don't produce it as a fibre as such.
It's a loop, continuous loop like terry towels.
Yeah. Whereas a microfibre is a singular strand. So it's almost like have you seen them extruding metal to make wire?
Yes.
Same sort of process. So it's injection moulding plastic through ever decreasing dyes to then get this super fine hair strand effectively, and bamboo doesn't have the structural strength to do that yet.
Bamboo is just cellulose.
Yeah, it is. It's paper basically, but it's very, very soft paper. But you know, it's getting there because I've got bamboo pillows and stuff that are amazing, and they've got bamboo underpants now,
And they're really high wicking as well, aren't they?
High Wycombe.
High Wycombe, yes.
High Wycombe.
Hi,
Up in there. So yeah, it was an interesting article to write because there's a lot of info out there.
Yeah.
But it even prompted me to switch to reusable bamboo kitchen roll, which is a revelation. And you can wash it.
Yeah.
So you tear it off as a sheet like you would kitchen roll, but then you stack them up and wash them.
I just use the dog.
But then your neighbours think you're hanging out kitchen towel.
It could be worse. I could think you're abusing a dog.
To be fair, the further north you go, the less weird that gets. Yeah. You can put them next to your tea bags on the washing line.
Yep, shout out to Nick Fisher.
Yeah, well, if you don't have any of that, Staffy Bull Terriers are quite absorbent. So, on to another topic, which we did, and now this was fascinating. We got a pair of carbon ceramic brake discs from our friends over at Apex, who run a Nürburgring taxi service of all sorts of cars.
And also track car hire, and they're a hotel. It's basically like a one-stop shop for any petrol head that goes to the Nürburgring, because you can go and stay there, you can rent a track car, and you can also go out with Moritz or one of the other insane drivers. One of them took my other half, Danielle, out, and we think, unofficially, they think that M3... Now, this is no ordinary M3 either. You
can tell James is looking for a free ride next time.
So, well, that was a free ride. So that was a birthday gift that was given to me. But I'm so bad at being a passenger in any car whatsoever.
Yes.
Danny had never been around the Nürburgring, and I thought the first time she should go around should be in a sub 8-minute M3 with a professional racing driver. So yeah, they basically run, in my opinion, the most popular taxi service since Sabine Schmidt. My darling.
Have we? Yes, sad news about Sabine.
Oh yeah,
yeah, really sad.
So anyway, we got those carbon ceramic brake discs, and the idea was to see how delicate they really were, whether they were easily broken, and also what different chemicals or different pHs, solvents, and all the rest of it did to them from the point of view of washing a car safely.
Well, this is the story that you commonly read now of if you use even vape, you shouldn't use anything acidic around carbon discs because they will puff up, explode, fail, people crash, cars that crash are usually quite expensive, and yes, everything will.
The people can be quite expensive too.
The people can be quite expensive, but it depends how well they crash, frankly.
It depends what you get for spares and repairs.
Now,
But yeah, so the kind of the suggestion that if you use acids on anything with ceramics, you're going to at the very least render the brake discs useless.
yeah, but so the testing we did was sort of exaggerated as well. So it wasn't even like we'll just spray it and rinse it off and see what happens.
Yeah, see if we crash.
We actually had to get small pieces of disc to go into test tubes, and there was only initially I had the harebrained idea that we would use a Dremel and a cutting disc because it's carbon. Surely it's not that hard. So yeah, we got the Dremel out, snap one disc, snap two, snap three, snap five, and then we decided to get Old Faithful out. Lumpy.
Yeah, well, the first lumpy, the first multi-tool that we used.
Yeah, we smashed a hammer.
Yeah, we broke
Well, this is the thing. You hear stories from Porsche mechanics, and they're very scared about dropping these ceramic discs when they do brake changes and things like that, because apparently they're so brittle that if you drop them in the wrong place, they will smash into 1,000 pieces. And there you go, $5,000 bill to replace this. This
No,
one disc.
I don't disagree that they could possibly hairline fracture it and not notice.
Yeah.
But to physically smash one of these discs, we
I said the hammer broke before the disc did.
we literally snapped the shaft off a hammer first, and then if you look at the photos in the mag, just to reiterate, both Ian and I are mid-air
a good 2 foot up,
trying to throw a hammer,
club hammer at it,
as hard as we can at this disc, and it took a good 5 or 6 full-blown attempts at throwing a lump hammer at this disc for it to actually chip.
for us to hit it.
Yeah. For us to hit it, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of...
Really terrible aiming.
it was hilarious. Look
loads
how
of health
high
and
they
safety
are.
going on.
Yeah. No, it was absolutely.
We threw a
hilarious.
brick at it at one point, and the
Yeah, the
brick
brick
actually
broke.
damaged.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
So they're not as brittle as you may think.
And in jumping competition, by the way, James won. He got a good 2 foot higher in the air, and I thought for once, he'd be able to see the world from my point of view.
What, slightly sad and sepia-toned.
So that was an interesting, and we tried lots of different things on there, and we tried submersion within various products, and we did, as I say, strong pH, both acid and alkaline. We did neutral, we did solvent, we did control with just water, which, strange enough, didn't do anything. Yep. So yeah, well worth a read on that one. The next thing that we did was, again, one of James's masterpieces, which was the most topical thing in the magazine, perhaps.
Yeah, apologies for my political views in this straight away, but I feel like small businesses need some sort of a voice, even if it's a slightly irritating northern one.
Well, you know what I'm like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a topic that we knew was going to be relevant. So many businesses and sole traders and individuals and employees have been affected and are being affected on a daily basis from the lockdown period. We thought it was...
And the ongoing economic conditions.
Yeah, I mean, we thought it was really necessary to speak to people from our industry and see how the financial help that was offered
Eventually.
helped them, yeah. And what we did see is that some of them have really benefited, as in they're going to come out of this with a real good standing to move forwards, albeit through the SBBR grant or what have you. And it may be that they've come out of it much better off than they went into it, which is a good thing because it's going to help boost the economy moving forwards. Others were
Just left out.
more or less left high and dry. And we've seen, from the Trade Association, we've seen many detailers either cut back on their costs or leave the industry completely.
Even if it's only temporarily.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen a lot of guys that have had to go and get normal, in quotation marks, jobs. So it was great to speak to them and get their views on the financial help that was given and how it helped to move forward.
And so the way this article is structured is that we've got sort of different viewpoints from various, I think, 4 or 5 people in the end gave
I think so, yeah.
There's ones with each type of support out there. So there was the SBR grants, the small business rate relief, the self-employed,
furlough. There was the employed furlough.
And bounce back loan.
bounce back loan
as well, and the Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we covered it.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and we had to keep the
incidentally,
old
we didn't
identity.
name who we quoted for the bounce back loan there, not because of some massive secrecy, but because there's somebody out there with 20 grand sitting in an account that we didn't really want to open up to some kind of scam targeting. So that's the only reason they're not
I
actually named.
literally just need your PIN number.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
But we also know, they've got a gambling habit as well, so we're very vulnerable on that side of things.
Yeah. How have you invested your bounce back loan? Well, I've played some cards. And,
It's a sure thing. It's a sure thing.
It's a sure bet. Honestly, this time, it's guaranteed to come in.
It's good. In other news, I'm getting a new Subaru.
A new one. That's a good idea.
You mean
instead of those
stupid.
shitty old ones you keep buying?
up.
Apologies for all the blasphemy in this
Yes,
podcast
it's got
today
very
as well.
rude.
Blasphemy.
Well, not blasphemy, but profanities.
Yes.
Profanity. It's okay. You can only listen to this after 9 o'clock.
Jesus Christ, he's picking me up on
That's blasphemy.
isn't he?
Jehovah. Sure, she said it again.
I'm not
Just for
going back to
reference,
prison.
I actually said cheese and rice, not what you think I said.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was quoting Monty Python, so it didn't count.
Well, the more of that, the better. So we've then got a little article which was provided to us. Actually, it's one of the rare bits of content that we didn't kind of write, which was about a school in Lowestoft, which I think is in Suffolk. And
It's just below Higherstoft.
Indeed. And there they have introduced a car detailing, or let's call it car care course, that kids can do as part of their kind of education. So that's...
When we say kids, we mean sort of like teens.
Yeah.
It's not like for preschools or...
I can't age...
Although, for getting between those really tight spoked
Yeah.
alloys,
Yeah.
you can't beat a 3-year-old with a mitt on his hand.
Well, they've still got
That's why
soft...
mine over
they've
earlier.
still, they've still got a soft skull, so you can just put them in... Never mind.
They can squeeze through.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a bit of force. And
I mean, it's a parental right to push the squidgy bit when they're babies.
I don't know. I have no intention of breeding. It takes
It's
away
when their
good
eyes
Subaru
go
money.
crossed that you go, oh, I'll push a bit too hard there.
Yeah, no, well...
Oh, you'll have babies eventually, but
No.
whether you like it or not.
I've got babies.
No, you haven't.
No, you haven't.
Subarus. The other thing is at the end of it, James having apologised for political views in the previous article, I must apologise for my slightly cynical approach to how the education system works. I wrote a little monologue.
Yeah, but yours
of
is
that.
very BBC 4. You're all right.
Well. It basically says the same thing. I just use longer words and a bit of punctuation.
I like to do my writing with a clenched fist,
Yes, and a Stella
dipped in ink.
That wasn't ink.
So writing.
So, yeah. And that brings us into the PDM challenge. So this time the showcase, normally we will have sort of 3 or 4 cars in showcase, and it's done by PVD members, usually detailing cars. Because of lockdown, there's obviously a lot less material out there, and also because we were locked down / locked in, we thought, why not do one ourselves? So we looked around at our fleet of cars, and mine were all broken, so we couldn't do that.
We couldn't find one that was good enough to use, so
Of
we've had
mine?
to get
Went to the least worst.
we had to get Ian's, and then his had the least amount of expensive jobs that needed doing.
That is true. Well, it's also the newest car by quite some margin.
Yeah.
What is it?
09.
My youngest car is 19 years old, so it's considerably newer.
How much is the bus?
The bus isn't really mine. I don't want to declare that I own a Peugeot.
You
Partner
literally
TE.
drive it more than anybody.
Well, yeah, but I quite like driving around in two.
Only because it's got a ramp on the back. You have to
Yes.
climb up to get in.
Well, it's also got it's a
easier than
disabled
getting them in the
vehicle.
boot.
Yeah, exactly.
I could just drag them up
In
here.
you go, Doris.
If you left the winch in so you can drag the dead bodies in.
I have left the winch in, but that's only to.
It's so you can get the Doberman back in after it's gone for a walk. In, no. Winch.
No, you just attach the dogs to the winch, let them out, and then wind them back in
drive
again.
It's awesome, very awesome. But anyway, and nobody's ever said that about a disabled converted Peugeot Partner TP-L2. So anyway, we did.
Very specific.
And
Yeah.
I know you try and find one with they all have barn doors and they're all L1s and they've got the 1.6. This is the 2 litre. It's got the double doors at the back. It's the L2 long wheelbase.
It's a cool car when you have to explain it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Boat's
all of
jokes. Like Boat's jokes. That was a joke.
Yeah. Raise your left hand when you were trying to be
I
funny.
say what? Flat and disappointing.
I got another joke then, but
Can
it's
you
not
wipe the
appropriate.
tear off of the microphone, please?
So we did it in Sky, and we did everything to Sky. I mean, not everything, but we there isn't an orifice or an element that wasn't sort of touched and straight.
Engine
Well, we did do the inside.
No, well, yeah, but you told us not to after. We decided against it for our own personal health reasons.
Really couldn't be bothered.
No. Well, it was mainly because we were on that car pretty much for a solid week.
Yeah. We had time left to do the outside, and this is a car I bought back in October, November last year, and haven't had a chance to do anything with it because I keep having to write a bloody magazine.
Yeah, it was.
This is my spare time. I don't have the spare time to do other
things,
enjoyable things.
Yeah,
it's just writing.
You don't really have hobbies, though. If you didn't have that spare time, you just playing playing.
Oh, yes,
computer games.
That's my hobby. Yes, playing computer games.
Well, his other hobby is being generally angry.
Yeah, but I can work that quite easily into my work life as well.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true.
So anyway, we did that, and there were many pages and many photos, and much
yeah,
on
we
that.
don't want to talk about that because it's sort
it's
of,
too
you weren't there,
raw
man.
still.
You weren't there, man.
It's still sore,
You
but
weren't there.
we are looking to continue it and basically try and do.
There are some cool little bits in that, though. We have to say we did try a hell of a lot of different techniques to get the best out of that paint, and it did come up crackingly in the end. To be fair. Printer's got something to say in the background.
Maybe it's printed that document we sent about 8 weeks ago.
Little things like taking care of that bit of clear coat peel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a remarkable
Not something
success.
that we'd want to try on a customer car, however, but it was interesting to have the opportunity with that particular set of circumstances to try something out and find that, yes, actually, it does work quite nicely if you wanted to try it.
You colour-coded your badges.
Colour-coded the badges, yeah, just because there's no... I decided to paint the calipers yellow because that's what I saw on an
I still think you
PT.
should have done the S-line red square yellow instead of the lettering.
Well, we could still, but...
No, because then it's all yellow. I meant just do the square initially.
The paint will come out pretty soon. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not as if I did a very good job of it, you know.
Calipers look pretty spicy though.
Yeah, they do. I look at that and think, oh, is that like an RS5 with ceramic carbon brakes? No, it's a 2-litre TFSI.
He's even put Quattro on there so people know that he can't drive.
Well, not
you laughed as well.
There's no point
you
in having
laughed.
a
You're a Quattro owner.
It's like if you've got a Porsche, you have to have the Porsche hat. If you've got a Quattro, you have to tell people you've got a Quattro.
Yep.
Otherwise, how do people know you're driving a Quattro, not just a Bogo two-wheel drive?
And if you're a BMW, you've got to sit in the outside and lay your main beams on.
Apparently so.
Yeah. And don't say don't indicate, because I've always
you only have the high
indicated.
beams on just in case you accidentally knock the indicator and people have a heart attack.
When you say indicate, I'm talking about when people say indicate, James, they mean with the indicator lights, not sticking your hand out the window with a middle finger attached to it.
You indicate with your nose, the nose of the car.
I'm still indicating. I've turned the steering wheel. That indicates that I want to move.
Into the side of their car.
If you're not paying attention to what my arm's doing inside my blacked out windows.
Either way, I've bought what looks like a police car because I want you to get out of my way. That's the top and bottom of it.
What,
The only
your
reason
wagon?
people buy a white BMW, I think.
No, it's not white, but it looks like a bit of a sort of a creeper one, doesn't it?
Well, it's a weird thing. I'm trying to convince them because I pride myself on my ability to identify a car by its rear lights at night at about half-mile distance, and specifically
front lights or rear.
both. But,
okay.
But specifically for the point of view of making sure that if there is a marked or unmarked police car in the vicinity, that I am in the slow lane, or lane 1 rather, so that it can pass safely to the emergency donut that it's going to be going to. So that's why I do it. And I have to admit, even though they've stopped using that generation of 5 Series quite a while ago, every time I see one on the motorway, I'll dip down below 3 figures just in case. Just
It's
to
when
like
you've
remember
got-
it.
What's the weirdest or most surprising police motor you've seen undercover?
Well, I've been pulled over by you'll tell me what model it is. It was the last of the saloon Impreza STIs.
Yeah, there are quite a few of those. Yeah.
So I was pulled over by a black one of those in Stockport with no spoiler on it.
Yes.
And the second weirdest was when I was doing ridiculous speeds around the dark parts of Manchester in Trafford Park, and I was overtaken by a Golf R32. And that Golf R32 had a police sticker in it. It had little blue LEDs in the corner of the windscreen and the back window.
To be fair, I now live on the M4, quite literally on the M4, and I now very regularly see, every time the blues and twos are on, I go out to have a look to my viewing post, and there is an Audi B4 RS4 or B5 RS4, B5 RS4 that goes up and down blaring blue lights, and it's clearly not police. It's clearly somebody just with
Well,
blue
you
lights
say that, but there's so the police use their personal vehicles occasionally if they're going to drug raids and stuff.
Right.
So they'll use their own vehicles, but they'll put the temporary lights in the windows and the rear windows.
No, this is clearly got the full Pro strobe set up in the grille and in the headlights.
I had a customer that had a white Volvo V. Is it a V40?
V40 is the smaller estate car based on the S. V60 on a. It's an S40.
It was a little Diddy. Right. Yeah. Well, whatever it was a T4. R design.
Might as well just call it Full Focus.
Whatever it was white and it was an estate, and he had some stuff fitted to the front of that.
Well, to be in honesty here, I've got undercover strobes on Boris the Outback, but they're all amber, and it's for Zombie Apocalypse. And if I need to do a rolling roadblock,
they say it's highly illegal, but every Scania driver on Earth has got a blue LED
thing in the backdrop,
and they've got blue LEDs in the grills and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but are you going to stop a Scania driver at night?
Have you ever seen the police Scania? Or the police,
yes.
The police.
It's got the guy.
Unit.
It's got that guy from Police Camera Action or whatever it's called nowadays.
John Suchet.
No.
David Suchet?
One of the policemen.
That's him. That's the one I was on about.
There's a little Scottish policeman, and he's very, very angry. And he goes,
because he's Scottish.
I think it's just coincidental.
I'd be angry.
And he's got all sorts of licenses. Like they had a flood thing. He jumped into a JCB and went and rescued a farmer from a farmhouse in a JCB. He's very cool in a kind of policey kind of way.
It sounds like a kids' TV show, like Postman Pat. Or
I feel like Bert's seen like some sort of kids' cartoon, and he's.
I mean, I do get confused what a documentary is and what's fiction. So I just go on the basis now everything is a documentary, and to be honest, life is quite scary on that basis. But anyway, he was driving this tractor unit, and he kept on busting other drivers because they're all left-hand drive, the trucks, of course.
More
so
the point, he can see down through car windows at people doing things they shouldn't be.
Yes.
Like, using their phone, not other stuff.
Not other stuff.
Is that allowed? I don't think. Is it?
I don't think it's allowed. In China, they have cameras specifically to catch you doing that sort of thing because apparently it's a common issue.
Wow, I didn't realise how many people ate when they were driving.
Yeah, I know. There's just lots of service stations in China. I can't remember how we got onto this. Hidden strobes.
Ian asked what the weirdest. So, what was the weirdest police car you've seen?
Yeah.
I swear to this day on the M4 I saw a Nissan Leaf.
Are you sure it wasn't a PCSO?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a police car, isn't it?
Well, it's not really a pursuit car.
Well, it is for other Leafs.
I mean,
they're getting more and more common now.
Will it take down Zoe?
I tell you what, I don't think it'll be long before they get Teslas, and that'll be scary.
That will be scary
because there's no.
It'll be funny when they all get hacked.
Well,
yeah, just steer them onto the hard shoulder. No, not today. Not today.
No, I'll be all right because I just stick to tiny little B roads where those stupidly heavy Teslas are not very fast at all.
They'll still catch you. They're four-wheel driving incredibly fast.
No, put me in Uncrashable too.
I'm sure there are a few Model S's.
Yeah, but that might be just a PR stunt. Like they had a Lotus
like the Koenigsegg they had in Birmingham.
Yeah, and
stick it up for the day.
The only place they generally use those cars is the Middle East, where you've got, is it Bahrain or Abu Dhabi or something like that, where they've got like Lambos.
No, it's Abu Dhabi or Dubai, and they've genuinely got supercars because they've probably seized them.
Because they've seized them and sticked them up.
Yeah, and then they need to catch people.
That's cool. No, well, I will make a bet that I can beat Cross Country in an Uncrashable 2, which is my far Subaru. I can beat any Tesla apart from that little sportsy one.
Yeah, but by the time you've broken down and been collected, it will have stopped, charged up again, and gone.
I have never broken down in that car.
It's literally on the driveway with a blown bottom end. It is broken down.
No, it's sleeping at the moment. I've never been left by the side of the road in it.
So what is your 0 to 60 time on that Subaru?
Well, I don't know because it's so non-stock that there's no official figures for it. But
so is it sort of 2.6?
Is it less than 2.9 seconds?
No, my point is on twisty B roads where the fact that it only weighs sort of 1,300 kilos
without the low centre of gravity that a Model S has, because all the batteries are down there.
Boxer engine Subaru,
and without the regenerative braking that a Tesla's got, where it can stop faster than you,
and the better driver that most Teslas will have.
I won't be trying to stop,
to
be fair.
And the four-wheel drive system that's obviously better than Subaru's archaic.
I've got plated diffs front and rear.
They've got 4 electric motors that are adaptive to the road conditions.
Yeah, I'm still... okay, well, look, as I say, it's a bet. What we'll do is when the police get Model S's, once I've had a rebuild on Uncrashable 2...
what a racing line actually is as well, which will be interesting.
Yeah. I will go and steal a policeman's hat and provoke
Give it to a pregnant woman to wee in. 'Cause
No,
you can do that.
Can you? Oh yes, of course you can.
No,
Can't
you
you?
can't. That's bullshit.
Oh well. I avoid
Do you still
pregnant women.
urinate on the offside rear wheel of a Hackney carriage, Bert?
Are you driving your geese over London Bridge on a Tuesday?
Have you tried to kill a Welshman inside the court walls of Chester Castle?
I have.
You have to,
Yeah, but you're
you have
just a
to-
bit murdery anyway.
Apparently, you
Waiting
can
for
you can
weeks there.
you can do it on a certain day, but you have to use a bow and arrow.
Well, you're
But-
not
No, you can
allowed
do
to
it on
steal
any
from Her
day. You
Majesty's
just have to be
shipyards.
really fast at running away.
Okay, well, look, we're getting away from the serious point, and that is that I will steal a policeman's hat and show you when the police get Tesla S's. I'm going to have to be really careful and make sure that it's a policeman in Tesla S, because if he then gets into a Nissan Leaf,
And overtakes you as well.
God, it hurts just thinking about it.
What would be funny is if you got to the Subaru and that hilarious
You
sound,
just spent
that
5 minutes
hilarious
struggling with the immobiliser.
Yeah, that hilarious sound system that's been jerry-rigged into the boot floor.
Connect the
Just wait.
batteries.
I need to swap the ring main over to the accessory main, and then she'll fire up. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, I'll be stripping all the audio out when it goes down to engine tuner and has a orny bottom.
Yeah, that
end.
ain't gonna happen.
You can explain to them why you would have won in the back of their Tesla.
No, they'll never take me alive.
Not with your brakes.
Not little pieces, Afghan all over again. So that was.
Did he have
the
some
A5.
sort of an encounter with an Afghan hound or something we don't know about?
No, it was a slightly dark point, which I won't go into, but about how if you have an accident in a Subaru, there's probably in a 90s Subaru, there ain't going to be much left of you. And there was...
There shouldn't be. It's a crime against humanity of them being on the road.
Yeah, to kill a Subaru, exactly, I agree. You might as well go down with your ship.
I think we read that in English class.
Wasn't it a Dido song?
Yes.
I won't go down with
love
this
Dido,
ship.
yes.
Oh, God.
White flag.
I bet you were a David Gray fan as well,
Yes,
weren't you?
White
Oh,
Ladder.
my God.
I
You're
loved
so
all that.
beige.
I don't care. I liked it. It was nice
You
music.
like the colour beige personified.
Oh, no. I'd like... Sort
No, I like the remix of David Gray as well.
No, I don't. No, I'm into
Just
some
on
trendy
discs,
music.
you know.
I like the Beatles and R.E.M. They're cool. So,
Oh, that's
you know.
controversial.
Oh, God.
Two of the most popular bands of all time there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you said, like, System of a Down, I'd say, oh, that's a bit edgy, yeah.
I've heard of them. I like Audio Slave too. Recently accidentally discovered that, and that's really cool.
Yeah, don't try and go and see him in concert, though.
Why not?
Chris Cornell died.
Oh, that'd be awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was Audio Slave. The name rings a bell. Anyway, look, popular culture, not my thing.
Do you like Lost Prophets?
I sense this. The thing is, I think there is a band called the Lost
fishing
Prophets. I think there is a band called the Lost Prophets, but I'm not entirely sure.
There was.
Did they get lost?
No, one of them's
They
in
won't be
prison.
getting back together for about 12 to 15 years.
Yeah, 12 to 15 years, and they certainly won't be doing any concerts near any schools.
Oh, like that. I quite like the Cardigans. Their
To
name
be fair,
appealed
when he
to
gets
me.
out, his girlfriend might be legal.
Yeah, that's true. Cardigans, they were famous for doing the soundtrack for Gran Turismo too.
Oh, okay. They
And
also
Romeo
did
and
something for the
Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet soundtrack as well. They were awesome there.
Well,
As
this
as
is so
strange enough-
magazine related.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, this is
unbelievable.
great.
I haven't even got onto the Butthole Surfers.
Busthole Surfers.
Yes, that is a Romeo and Juliet soundtrack thing. Pretty Piece of Flesh. Awesome, awesome track. I assure you, go and Google or whatever you do on your computer. So another showcase. I went down in, I think, January. It was in January or February. I went down to see a Mercedes G-Wagon AMG Brabus short wheelbase softback be fettled by Gareth Fisher.
Just to confirm, we're not entirely sure it's a G63.
I've confirmed it's not a
No,
G63.
'cause they don't make one.
Yes, I cocked up because in the video I labelled it G63, but it's actually a
G55 compressor.
Yes, so it's fettled by AMG, then fettled by Brabus.
Yeah, so it's basically a remapped G55 with some tricky split rims and stuff.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I was a passenger in
Completely
it.
unnecessary.
Very silly indeed, but I still quite like it. And then we have the PBD on tour, which we won't go through in detail, but basically we went around the country doing assessments and stuff for PBD members up and down the nation. And then we go into the PBD directory, and that is pretty much the end of...
There's one more thing.
Right.
Two more things.
If we turn to the back cover,
Yes. Yes.
it is upside down for a reason.
And it's the
I
reason
don't know
is
what the reason is.
well, it says
Go
that
on.
it's to be different.
Yeah.
It's be different. Yeah.
Well, I when we were over in Milan, I got ushered upstairs to go and see Marco, who runs Labo Cosmetica, and he was coming up with all these ideas, promotion ideas, which is why you guys will have a Labo Cosmetica brochure with your magazine, stuff like that. And then he said, I want to do the back page of the magazine. I was like, yeah, no, that'd be great. That'd be really cool. Then he looked at me and he said, I'm a marketing man. turn it upside down, and I was, or something to that effect, and my heart sank when he said do it upside down, and I said why, and he said because it's different. I said yeah, but there are other things that are different. Doesn't mean it's good, and he's a strong character, and I'm a weak character, so yeah, it's printed upside down. But that's
Do you know what would be a really good advert? If the page was just red, but then you put a pair of red glasses on and it revealed the advert from behind.
Ooh.
That'd be a good advert.
Edgy.
That's the next front cover.
If you had red glasses.
Yeah, to get rid of the red. Is that how it works? I don't know.
I don't
Well,
know.
we're actually going to have to phone Marco and give him some of his money back because unfortunately we printed the back cover the right way up, and it's just the rest of the magazine that's back to front. So sorry about that. We messed up.
Have you ever read a Japanese car mag?
Yes.
So you get to halfway, and then you turn the mag around, and it's got another front cover, and then you read the back half of the mag as normal.
Okay.
So the mag's split into two.
Yes.
And one's upside down. So you flip it around and turn it over, and you've got another front cover and another half of a magazine, so that you're always turning it the right way. You're not over centre.
That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, but they're full of like
Crazy.
the front cover. Oh, my dream front cover for Pro Detailer would be a Japanese one.
Well, we did that, issue 6.
No, an actual Japanese one.
Oh, I see. What, like full blown? Actually, no.
In Japanese. Does that make it simpler?
Oh, okay. No, I don't think that's going to work.
Might
quite so well.
limit the UK readership.
I think we
slightly.
sent of issue 11. I think I sent 8 over to Japan.
Oh, so there is a market.
It's quite a little market.
Yeah, but I could do like
I mean,
10
they do pay
Japanese
over
front
the odds
covers.
for Western goods, don't they?
Yeah, I suppose so. And we
Yeah,
tried-
but the thing is, there's no attraction if it's not in English. 'Cause
No.
that's why they
want
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah,
why
we
they
might as well
want it.
just do a Union Jack and a Mini on the front.
they took all the right on drive E30 M3s.
Yeah, well, we're importing back all the RV8 MGBs. Sorry, they're not called MGBs. They're just MGBs that we call RV8s.
Aren't they?
No, the MG-RV8.
Yeah,
Me.
it's the MG-RV8.
Yeah,
With the
there's no
ST1
mention of a
engine,
B.
isn't it?
It is basically a B.
Do you remember the MG-SV? Saw one of them in real
Basically a
life.
Beamer, did you say?
No, basically a B.
Oh,
Oh,
The
right,
RV8
okay.
really is just an MGB underneath with a 3.9 EFI V8 in from the Rangy. And if you look at, I mean, they've done some bits and bobs, and I think they're quite pretty, actually. They're just very narrow.
They're all that
Very-
weird.
they weren't released until quite late, though.
The 90s, yeah.
Yeah, like late 90s, 99, I think they were released, the
Ah,
RV8.
No,
So
no,
they're
no, no.
like-
K-Reg, 93.
Are you sure? Because I thought they were like
Cambridge
P&R.
92.
I thought they were P&R.
I don't think they are. I think they're later. They are later than that.
They all
'Cause
came-
they were a classic design, a bit like when Mini was still making the original Mini in 2000.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
well,
'cause-
I had a 98R Mini Cooper at one point. That
I
was
went
cool.
and looked at an X-Pack on an X-Reg. That's how late they made them.
Blimey. Yeah.
Couldn't afford it.
No.
RV8 Supply is the only place you can reliably buy the brass butterfly valve bit for the inside of an SD1.
How do we have girlfriends, really? Because, I mean, this sort of knowledge.
I mean, that's interesting, because that's a really easy bit to break.
Or you could just put. Or you could just put it,
It's one of the very easy bits to break on a TVR.
Or you just convert it to downdrafts. That's what all RV8 should be.
yeah, ITBs, baby, that's the way to go.
No,
Just stick a
downdraft
Civic
carbs.
Type R engine in.
Oh god! Talkless, gutless ricer. Ugh.
Right, well, before we go too far off topic, we're 90 minutes into this podcast, so...
Oh, should we just do a quick mention about the front cover?
yes.
Oh, we didn't actually go into any of the front cover stuff, did we?
No, we've missed everything. We've done everything apart from the actual front cover.
Oh, okay, yes, no, but front cover, that's an interesting story.
Basically, Ian's been watching YouTube's videos of astrophotography.
He's now a
and
professional
stuff.
photographer, don't you?
He is now. He's he can focus a photograph.
Well, I thought one of us should.
Low blow.
Go get a Nikon.
Surprised you can see me from there with all that blur. So the idea was to basically finish Ian's car and get it somewhere dark, which there are plenty of places around here like that.
We're back to the dogging spots again.
Yeah, back to dogging spots. And Ian will explain it a bit more on how we actually got that Starscape.
Yeah, so I was looking in for age something bit different to do with some photography bits I'd picked up, and I've always been fascinated by the whole astrophotography side of it. Not the deep space photography, because that requires a bit more.
I can attest to that, because you did invite me out. I got a
I keep
random
on asking
message
you to come and meet me in the field, and
Yes, at night.
you keep coming up with excuses.
I mean, it's unusual because every other podcast Bert's talked about creeping around people's houses in the dark.
I work alone, all right?
But no, I just find it. I think I started doing it with my Pixel 2, where it's actually got an astrophotography mode and doing these long exposures. And they were a little bit pants, but I thought, well, now I've got a decent camera, we'll try to do some of these. And this was a really good place to start trying something called photography stacking, which is when you take sort of about 60 odds. Well, you can do it with less, but we took for this photograph 60 images, long exposure, about 18 seconds each, and ran it through Deep Sky Stacker to align them all and get the brightest detail out of it. And that's how we pulled out all of these fantastic star images from 2 o'clock in the morning on a isolated truck site.
And the side of it was, so we've got that starscape, which is the stacked images, and then we took 2 further images, one which was essentially long exposure, 30 seconds of the car, and then we did exactly the same again, but James ran around with a torch and we painted with the light so the car was suddenly brighter than the rest, and then we compiled it all together through clever technology and software. And voila, it was quite entertaining. It was a fun night because we'd been working all day and we worked right through till about, 1? Oh no, we disappeared and then
We disappeared and came back about 11:30.
Yeah, we braked about 11:30 and then came back about, because we were out there at 2:30. I remember getting home.
No, we came back here at about 11:30. It was still a little bit too light because it was right in the middle of summer.
Then we walked around this industrial estate and discovered that there was nowhere.
There were trucks blocking every single kind of landscape shot available. So we'll go.
And security lights that could really mess with our exposure.
Yeah.
So we basically went and found one of the old emergency access gates to an old airfield nearby, didn't we? Yes. And that actual entrance off the main road was where we were going to set up.
Well, we took some cool photos. There was an asteroid.
We did. We caught. Well, no, it was the meteor. We caught the meteor, didn't we? And then as we were sort of getting ready to set up the shot, a truck turned up and went to open the access gates to the old airfield, and that's where Burton is.
So we clung to the bottom of the truck.
You imagine it's the middle of the night. You're a lonesome truck driver, and it was just a rigid axle, 22 ton. And he came in, and it was like a padlock, serious padlock, and a chain to a big fence. And he came up, and there were 3 blokes, 3 cars playing around with cameras in the pitch black.
Turning their interior lights on and off.
Yeah.
We were fully clothed at that point.
We were fully clothed at that point, yeah.
I think I was dressed all in black with my fast shoes on.
Yeah,
just in case.
Your white shoes. Last seen in the London riots circa 2012. And
how do you know that?
Because I watched telly. And anyway, it was decided that I should probably be the nominated one to go up and ask the truck driver very nicely if he wouldn't mind letting us in through his gate. So I went up and and the problem is I'm not a natural ninja, being, fat. But apparently he's a bit deaf or something because he didn't notice me, and so I was right up on his shoulder, and I'd just been sort of quietly breathing onto his neck for about 20 seconds, didn't want to interrupt him from the whole locking process or unlocking process. And I went, "Good evening. Strange request, this one. We're from a magazine about polishing cars." and you could see turning around through his mind's eye, I'm sure he was saying, "I'm going to be murdered by these 3 weirdos."
It was when you licked his ear first.
I didn't lick it first.
What he didn't know is that he would have been if he hadn't let us in.
If he hadn't let him in, we would let James on him. Anyway, so he said, "Look, I've got to dump this truck off. If you don't tell anyone," actually, that's a point. If you don't,
we haven't said where it is or who he was.
No, it's exactly.
We'll call it K. No, it's too obvious.
No.
Kemble A.
No, that's too obvious. Sounds like Kendall. Sounds like Hairport.
Yeah.
There you go.
No,
but pronounced Kemble Airport.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's losing their job.
Yeah, but they don't know which company it's from. It could be any data recovery firm.
I feel bad.
Call it G-Site. It's fine. Anyway,
so he said, "Look, I'm going in. I've got to do some paperwork, get the tacky sorted, and then I'm coming out my personal car. So you got 20 minutes." So we went in there. James and I, all 3 of us took a couple of photos of the Audi. Then we left Ian alone with his Audi to have a sort of special moment and take 70 photos of the stars. Meanwhile, I went off with James. We took photos of his Seat, which also appears in the magazine. And anyway, we kind of deduced that we needed to take more photos, and the guy came back, and he had... actually, that's going to identify him. I'd say he's got a Series 2 Disco, which I was quite impressed with.
Yeah,
so
don't say that.
Don't say that. Okay. And he basically very kindly said, "Look, I trust you," and I stifled the laugh. And it's amazing what you do with a posh accent. And he basically gave us the code to the lock and said, "Look."
No, he didn't give us the code.
Didn't he?
No.
And you didn't remember the code, and then you forgot to put a thing on there.
No. He didn't give us the code. He gave us strict instruction on how the chain had to be wrapped because they've had people break in.
Yeah.
And we did do that, but there was a little padlock guard that should have gone on. So if you are listening, which I guarantee you're not, very sorry.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you haven't lost your job for that. But if they hear this, you're probably going to lose it over this.
Well, no, hang on. If you did, then get in touch and I'll come and chat to.
Oh yeah, because you had to give him a business card.
Yeah,
so
I
he'd have called you if there was a problem.
I showed him my driving license and business card so that I could, if necessary, be called upon to give witness statements.
Look, I've made some effort to be a professional murderer.
I'm terribly sorry about the robbery. Of the three of us, one comes from the north. I'm not pointing any fingers.
Does his business card smell of chloroform?
Yes. Chew it, baby.
Just
chew
don't lick it, for Christ's sake.
So anyway, we did that, and then it must have been three something that we decided that we got what we needed.
Well, it was when it was starting to get light. So
yes, and then we then drove home and came back the following day and kept writing. So
that was after I pulled into the middle of the road, thinking it was the end of the industrial estate,
which is precisely what I'd done.
Straight behind me,
straight behind you. And then this was a scary thing, though.
Oh yeah, the police.
The police. So I go left to go down south, and
I went right towards Siren,
and then we both met different police cars on full blues and twos, hurtling, because you met it at a junction.
Yeah.
I met one coming the other way, and then another one, and basically...
Meanwhile, Ian was nowhere to be seen at this point.
Oh, yeah, I was long gone down the country roads by then.
Yeah, you'd taken the shot.
So we know which car they were looking for, the blacked-out drug dealer in the A5.
Yeah, well, exactly, particularly shiny A5.
Blacked-out A5
They did
with
comment
the drug dealer.
how much gloss there was off of it, though, didn't they?
What, the police?
Yes.
No, that wasn't their main topic of conversation. But I was driving because I was so tired. I was just sort of doing 40 miles an hour along a 60, quietly lolloping along in VOD, the old man's Audi. And actually, I looked totally innocent, apart from slightly my beard's a bit Al Qaeda at the time. But they didn't stop me.
And the leak coming out the boot.
Yes,
the fluids.
The fluids, yeah.
Meanwhile, I was in a black combat pants, black hoodie, black baseball cap in a Seat Leon Cupra,
bald head,
doing
big
about
beard.
90 down a 40.
Yeah, and
so they just assumed you had a deal to get to and they wanted to disturb you.
And if the police
Listen, mate, I've just met up with an A5 to do a drop, right? I've got nothing on me.
I could just imagine the police sort of waving me down and saying, "All right, pal," and some poor Gloucestershire policeman thinking, "Oh God, we've got a live one. Get the ARVs and the helicopter." So anyway, so we might have caused a major incident without realising it.
I don't think
we've
we
all
did,
confessed.
But
Well, yeah, but there was nothing between where you met the police car coming the opposite direction to you and I met the police car coming the opposite direction to me. There is nothing apart from where we took the photos.
Yeah.
It is literally just fields.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey ho.
Oh well, it's
Still
good thing
here.
we're not popular.
Still here. That was like when we, my friend Barry, that we used to do the fire painting photos with at CAD.
Yes.
We would regularly get neighbours complaining of 12
Fire.
foot, 12 foot high flames that would illuminate a group of 20 people dressed all in black.
Yeah, a bit pagan.
Should just sort of worn some
Just
wooden
say
cross
you're-
or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're entitled to practice your religion in the way you see fit.
What's the pagan symbol? Is it
A lot of them have a Celtic
I've
cross.
seen Blair Witch. Is that the same thing?
It's the pagan cross is the one with the knotted thing at the top, isn't it?
Yeah, there are various different interpretations of it depending on whether you're talking about.
Anyway, this is for another podcast. Let's end this.
I did a pagan module at uni. It's a damn thing I can talk about. But anyway, we're running out of recording space. So we will call it a day there. It's goodbye from James.
It is. Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Ian.
It's bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Thank you very much for listening. And we look forward to joining you again soon.